Okay, this is I'm James Lott Jr. It's a lot beneath the soil, and I'm going to talk to you. Let me sit down over here in my. Is it wet? It's a little wet. Oh well. So my porch and talk to you. Look at the light. It's like the first thing in the morning. So if you're listening to this podcast today, you're gonna want to watch it because it's gonna be a very audio heavy, video very heavy podcast. Video because people ask me about my garden all the time. I post pictures online and stuff, so I'm going to do this in several parts because my garden is so big. We go on forever. My front and backyards are huge, so I'm gonna start with my front yard since that's the one everybody sees the most. People in my neighborhood love it. I started working on this. I moved to this house 13 years ago, and it wasn't. What I'm about to show you wasn't like this at all. Over the last 13 years, especially over the last 10 years, intensively, I've been working on my garden to make it something that's just nice. And I like plants. I like plants. I like all that kind of stuff. So, and I'm going to talk about. I guess I'll pick one half to talk about. I'm going to show you an overview, then I'll pick one half. I'm going to do this in several. Because it's just, my yard is so big. So I'm gonna go into detail. So I'm gonna just pick one half and show you one half. I'm not gonna show you my address so you can see that, but let's go right there, yeah. This is my yard overview. It's this one side. Let me go back. So along the fence, I did this thing. And then on the other, this is the other side overview. And this side's bigger. But along the fence, I have flowers and plants all along the fence. See? And these big trees. I have stuff going down that way, but you see how big my yard is. So, this is an overview of what my front looks like. I made the conscious choice to put, because I hate this wire for this chain link fence, to put pots with plants in front of to line the whole thing up. That was my first thing I did. And I got finished towards the end there, almost done. But I started putting in something different and different colors. Everything was picked and curated on purpose. Now, how I got some of these things is a different story. But they were picked. So now we're gonna do one side. This side first. This is the shorter side. It starts from there, comes here. So you see, I don't have grass. We had a drought, so our drought doesn't really help us any. We didn't have any grass. This is pretty weeds, but we keep it because it makes it pretty. So this is lilies that come back every year. The whole thing there. This is a rose bush I got from my friend Sebastian for my birthday several years ago. It's a Queen Elizabeth pure white rose bush, and see how it is, and see that's new growth. It's growing. Now all of a sudden it decided to grow. It was doing fine, but now it's really growing. This tree came out of nowhere. This one just growed out of nowhere. See how tall that is. And then this tree came out of nowhere. Some seeds or whatever. Then this loquat tree. Okay, so there's a loquat tree on the other side. So this one must have got planted somehow. Don't know why. We had these bird of paradise that are not growing. That little thing is not growing. But all this, and then we have this too, of course. But all this came from some seeds. And you see how tall it is. So now I got two loquat trees. I always had one. The loquats are coming in. But that was just really weird. My big spiky thing, this is from, okay, so some of my plants are from, I'll just say she's my second mother. She passed away, her name was Elaine, Mom Elaine. And so some of her garden, we transferred to my garden. And this just grew out of nowhere, but this thing, I love it. I've cut myself on it several times. I don't care, I love it. That little tree, there was two of them. One died, this one lasted. And that's from my people over 2 blocks away. They have a giant tree that looks like that. That's a cutting, that's growing. So it's doing fine, it's growing. This is from Mommy Lane. This thing is doing very well. But here's what's funny. It was not white. Look at it. It was more of the reddish pink family. And it's all white this time. Have no idea why. There's little shades of what it used to was. Little shades of it. Something, I don't know what it did. I have no idea. That was from Mommy Lane's house. Palms are weird. I want them to grow so big like that thing up there, but that's not happening. But it's how you see this new growth that's hanging in there. For my twin sister Stephanie, these two, I'm gonna get a shot of these. There's this one and that one. She just said they weren't working for her. People bring plants to my house all the time. I'm a plant daddy. They bring them over, and so you see they're flourishing here. There was a palm here. It finally just died. But I like this little thing here, and I'm matching one over here too, and there's a tree growing out of it. So I'm fine. I'm leaving it alone. I'm not touching it. These two, so I get out the way. These two were originally like 50 bucks, but I went to Home Depot, and at Home Depot, they'll have plants on, like they're basically dying on the way out for like $1, $2, $5. These were $2 each. So I got them, and they're growing. They have a little bit of white on them. So I'm trying to treat that right now. But I want them to grow really big, cover this up, this whole area. Because I have the lemon tree here, bougainvillea tree here, and I forgot which bush that is. But I want to cover this up. So I'm hoping they will grow to do that. Let's turn this way. That's from Mommy Lane, Mommy Lane, Mommy Lane. And all this stuff, these from that rose bush, all that's from Mommy Lane. I repotted them. They were not that big when I got them. They've obviously grown. This thing is growing on here, which I don't mind. So that's great. That's from Mommy Lane. That's growing very well. This palm is doing great. I now wish I centered it differently, but screw it, oh well. It is where it is. That palm died, it's coming back from Mommy Lane. That was from somebody who dropped off a plant with that pot. There's something that'll come home on my porch, and they'll be like, oh, I'm trying to do a show. It's like babies in a blanket or something. They just dropped that off. I have no idea why. I got it, but it's doing its thing, has bulbs. This is another one that was dropped off to me that was in a pot. It was much smaller in a pot. We took it out the pot and put it in the ground, and now it's really thriving. That was given to me. I have no idea where that came from. That's from my gardener, Laurel. He brought that over, and it blooms. It's beautiful flowers. I bought that. Mommy Lane, my sister's favorite, Mommy Lane, Mommy Lane, Mommy Lane, Mommy Lane, all these. This one here and that one here, I didn't know where they came from, and then they came with these cute pots. Turns out my gardener Laurel months later told me it was him who dropped these off. So they're like my anchors. I want to build something right here to kind of like enter in. That's kind of what I want to do. Oh my goodness. All right, so that's it. That's this side. I'm gonna give you a big, that's the side. So next time we'll talk about this big side over here. I got a lot of plants, but we're gonna talk about this side is first. My left side on the trash cans there, people are coming. It takes me a lot of work. See my garden. It's very therapeutic. It's good with dexterity and with good health. Being out here, it's calming, but it's work. And I have to treat each of these things individually with care because each plant has something different. Succulents are great because I have a lot of succulents because they do flower, which is a great thing, and it can be really pretty, but also they're drought tolerant. And for so many years in California, we couldn't have plants, especially in Los Angeles, that weren't drought tolerant. So I have a lot of, that's why I'm looking over here and I have a lot of succulents in my yard, but they do flower, they do funny, interesting things. In addition, rose bushes usually last a long time too. I don't know what that is about either. They just seem to last. I'm on my porch. That's better now. They seem to last. I don't know why, but they do. They always come back. I just can't get this one thing to grow. Just can't. We moved it several times. It's just not this thing. But like this was just a little tiny tree. This was a little tiny tree. You can see down there. And they just grew. I love having this covered. I'm trying to get this so that it goes over and this goes over. We have to go underneath it. This is my porch, which I'll do a show on that later too. But I have this all covered up so I can sit here, secluded, and watch everything. Oh, loquats. Let's pick one. Let's pick a loquat. I eat them right off the vine. I don't care. It's the earth. It's nature. Little seeds in them. You don't eat the seeds. I want to grow a loquat tree in my back. That's your tour. Part 1. My garden. I will do more so you can see it. Subscribe to a lot of Beneath the Soil, audio and video. We'll see you next time.